Hi, welcome to Off the Cuff. Hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. And today, listeners, we will be talking about the highly anticipated Broadway play, The Kite Runner, coming very soon to San Jose. Hammer Theatre and Enact Arts present The Kite Runner from April 3rd to 7th, and tickets are available at thekiterunnerbroadway.com, Enact, ENACTE.org, and hammertheatre.com. And to talk about the play and also his illustrious career, I do have Salar Nader, the music composer of Kite Runner, here with me. So, welcome, Salar, to Off the Cuff.
Namrita ji, it's so great to see you. First of all, happy belated birthday. I noticed online it was your birthday, so Salgira Mubarak. And thank you for having me on Off the Cuff. Whoever's listening on the road, I hope you drive safe. And whoever sees the video, I hope you're enjoying uh, my traditional Afghan scarf plus my
Yeah,
hat.
love it, love it, love it. Yeah. शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपको और रमजान मुबारक आपको भी Salar. So a little bit about Salar Nader. He is one of the most sought after young percussionists of his generation, born in Hamburg, Germany in 1981 to Afghan parents forced to flee their home during the Russian-Afghan war. Nader was just 5 years old when his family settled in the San Francisco Bay Area, right here. Uh, at the age of 7, he began studying with the legendary tabla virtuoso, Ustad Zakir Hussain. And Nader already played tabla and was familiar with basic rhythms of Afghan and Indian folk and pop music. There's much more to him, but I'll start with the first question, Salar. I read in one of your articles, you said that you spoke Farsi at home, English outside, and then you learned tabla bowls at night. So, how
Yeah.
did you maneuver through your cultural identity and uh, what did the language of tabla teach you while you were growing?
Well, for me personally, I'm still trying to figure it out, Namrita ji, between Dari, Farsi, English, and there's a little bit of German in there as well. I took some Deutsch.
Oh,
Having been born in Hamburg, I said, it might come in handy
oh,
one day. So anyways, coming into tabla and walking into Ustad Zakir Hussain's class at 1988, 1989, tabla for me personally was a way to vent whatever was going on internally, whatever I was noticing as a child, maybe. Um, and it was basically my best friend, my best pal, and I didn't have many toys growing up. Refugee family, uh, living the refugee struggle as an Afghan American, figuring things out, parents figuring things out. I confused by do I speak Farsi at home and at school, and I was even actually in ESL, English as a second language, up until about third grade because it was very important um, for my grandparents that I maintained our cultural roots. And so for Afghans traveling into the US or Europe, one way we connect to the homeland is through poetry, song, dance, music, food, you name it. So one thing I was introduced to early on, I would say at 6 months, 7 months old, was the tabla, and it helped me communicate uh, what was going on in here, um,
mm,
and I was able to, as a child, connect with elders. So I almost felt like
mm,
if I was accompanying older singers or our legendary maestros like Ustad Salamat Ali Khan Saab or Ustad Sultan Khan Saab, the Sarangi maestro, like I kind of felt like, this is where I belong. So I had a very different, childhood. I did the whole, school thing, baseball growing up and all that. So I was juggling both worlds like many refugees coming from the vast
mm.
communities that make the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah. Balancing is a wonderful job, and I think being close to your roots is very important, I think, because that's you ultimately, right? So,
Absolutely, I agree. And I should mention that the time set in Act One of The Kite Runner
yes.
is the late 70s, set in Kabul, Afghanistan,
Huh?
and then the early 80s to the mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
um, is Act One. So basically, that part of the story where you see Amir,
Mm.
our protagonist, and Baba celebrating his birthday, and
Yes.
Hassan, and a lot of the moments in Act One are exactly alike with how our gatherings, our celebrations, our festivals would take place. So it's when I'm on stage, I'm literally watching. I have this like side angle view of um, our lives as Afghans migrating to the West. And so, yeah, I thought I'd mention that because Khalid Hosseini, before I met Khalid Hosseini, the author,
Mhm.
I was actually a tabla player who played at a Baitak mahfil, which
Mm.
happened to be his engagement party. And this was in 1993, 94.
Okay.
And I was unaware he hadn't written The Kite Runner yet.
Mm.
Um, and we had this incredible vocalist by the name of Farida Mahwash, and she was singing at the event, at
Mm.
the engagement party, which I didn't know was an engagement party. It was all of our families were there. So, but normally when there's a family gathering in Afghan culture, there's always a harmonium nearby
Yes.
and a set of tabla. I'm sure it's the same
In India,
with
yeah.
Indian baitaks and mahfils and so like that. I performed there, and then fast forward a few years, I went to a book signing. And when I showed up to Khalid's book signing, he was like, Salar, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm here to get my book signed. And he was like, I have a VHS tape of you just playing wildly during my engagement party. So, anyways, it's been an incredible thing to be on this evolution of the Kite Runner.
Absolutely, and sometimes it's destiny. You had to meet him in that way, and that
Absolutely.
that chance meeting led you to be now involved with the Kite Runner, and we all know that Kite Runner is based on the best-selling novel by Khalid Hosseini, who is an Afghan American author, and the book explores universal themes of friendship. Love, redemption, and it's very poignant. I read it some time back. And so I was just wondering what was the challenge to bring a story like that to an American Broadway? I mean, first time I think I'll be listening to tabla on Broadway. So how was that for you, and what was the challenge?
Well, what's incredible about my
Mm.
Ustad, my teacher, my guru, is that he always believes in the limitless possibilities of the tabla. And for some people within the various cultures, we look at the instrument, and
Mm.
sometimes it's somewhere in the back. There's a vocalist in the front, and
Yes.
it's kind of like almost like a side instrument. And
Yes.
especially, I
Uh-huh.
would say 40, 50 years ago.
Mm.
But I would say through the help of Ustad Alaraka, my grand guru, Ustad Zakir Hussain, there's a platform created for people like myself to show up and learn, but also figure out ways to apply
Mm.
uh, the tabla to any situation. And so, growing up in the West, you always see these different types of collaborations and experiments, and some that are incredible and some that you don't see again. And so, um, having grown up watching the
Mm.
art of Kathak and storytelling and how a tabla player interacts with a Kathak dancer who might be playing 15, 20, 25 different characters through a Kathak solo, I said, started scratching my head. And when I got in touch with Matthew Spangler, the scriptwriter, well, of course, Khalid connected us. And he said, I have this, at that time, it was like a 200-page script or 180 to 200. And he said, let's sit down and figure out where the music can flow. And the tabla is at the core of the musical soundscape and soundtrack and things that you hear. But yes, you do have traditional instruments from Afghanistan, like the rabab,
Mm.
which is kind of the grandfather to the sarod and related to the sarod. And so you'll hear the rabab, which is actually played by my father
Oh.
in the wedding scene. We have a traditional dance from Afghanistan called the atan. It's a circular dance,
Mm.
which nowadays I've been seeing more and more garba. And I'm like, whoa, garba and atan look so similar, and the rhythms are so similar. And so it's a beautiful thing that takes place on stage. And that was introduced by myself during the Broadway run. I said, we should definitely have an atan
Mm.
at the end of the wedding, because it's something that showcases the cultural heritage of Afghanistan, and it's what makes Afghanistan unique in its own way. And so you hear the rabab,
Mm.
the Afghan
Mm.
dolak that
Mm.
I've brought from Paghman, which is the province
Wow.
my forefathers are from, and you'll hear rhythms that connect. So what's incredible about, or I have to say, I've been so lucky to have been groomed by Ustad Zakir Hussain in North Indian classical music, but at the same time, having grown up and accompanied various styles of Afghan music representing our various tribes, which are Tajiki music, Tajiki Afghans, Uzbek Afghans, Pashtun Afghans. So Pashtun Afghans, I mean, Afghans are Pashtun. Um, so all those different styles within Pashto music, and each one of these genres
Mm.
have subgenres. And so I grew up listening to all this,
Mhm.
and being a confused fifth grader, figuring out, recess time, and oh, I have baseball practice now, and I need to go play with the kids. But wait, I'm about to accompany Zahir Waida, who's like a legend in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Um, was a special thing.
I can understand that, and kudos to you for keeping so close to the art of Afghanistan, because the entire world does not know too much about the music and the poetry and the rhythm that is so prevalent in Afghanistan. All we
Well,
hear
you do
is,
know
you know,
Rumi, right?
yes,
Maulana Rumi Balkhi, one of
yes,
the biggest poets, was
biggest
born in
one.
Afghanistan.
Oh
He's from
yeah,
Afghanistan.
Rumi is, yeah. As far as media is concerned, we only kind of it's kind of sad what we
That's
hear.
very true.
That's where I was going to. But for you, I know, like, you are putting your art and your craft to such good use, and you're helping the people in Afghanistan. So tell me, like, with whatever is going on in Afghanistan, politically and socially, and your family also being there. And you are helping a lot through your foundation, the Salar Nader Tabla Foundation and the Aga Khan
Absolutely.
Foundation. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, a lot of us Afghans who live here now, I mean, I'm in like Midtown Manhattan, sitting in one of the nicest brownstones on the block.
Mm.
And a lot of us live with survivor's guilt because we got out. And back home, I have almost 110 first cousins. My dad had 9 brothers, 6 sisters, very big family.
Mm.
And so when the doors kind of reopened, interestingly, post 9/11,
Mm.
different musical schools started sprouting up in Afghanistan. There's of course, you mentioned the Aga Khan Academy of Music in Herat, which is close to the Iranian border, and then the Aga Khan Academy also, which opened up in Kabul. So these two schools, as well as ANIM, Afghan National Institute of Music. So naturally, they both asked me, whenever you're ready, Salar, we'd like you to go there. And for me personally, I absolutely love teaching kids and connecting with kids. And I don't even know if I should call it teaching. It's almost like, for me, coaching and being another best friend and another kid in an adult's body.
Mm.
So I, I had the opportunity to go back in 2011, 2013,
Mm.
15, 17, and we have a large musical network there called the Tolo Music Channel and the Tolo Music uh, like festival. Basically, they had a Nowruz festival that they invited me for. So what I would do is every year, I would allot a few weeks out of the year, up to a couple of months, and I would go back to Kabul and teach. I would just connect with the kids. And you know what was very interesting is that
Mm,
when you meet some children who are going through a massive struggle,
mm,
war, having lost their parents, living lives with siblings who were lost to the war, and they all they have is maybe an instrument that's been donated to them, and they've been sponsored to be able to go to this school and have a few musical lessons. I walked in with the mentality of like, will they be able to grasp this material? Should I teach this, or should I kind of water it down?
mm,
And to be honest with you, Namrita ji, I ended up teaching the most advanced compositions in the first night,
mm,
and all of the students, all 50 of the students during the winter academy, stayed until a few hours past.
mm,
I'd already left and got everything down. And the next day, they regurgitated it and played it, created their own variations, their own ways to apply it. And I said, wow, the power of the struggle, right? It builds very strong, like hungry students who really their drive is very different than a drive
mm,
that you'll notice here in the classroom. And I said, oh, I am going to continue to come back. I'm going to continue to give. And so through SNTF, we give about 15 to 20 uh, right now tabla scholarships to students from all over the world. And I've partnered with Rhea Designs INC, who's my partner in LA. And what we do is we distribute these 15 to 20, and they're a year-long scholarship,
mm,
48 sessions, 48 one-on-one lessons, as well as 48 group lessons that happen every Sunday, which I call global practice.
mm,
And it's been an incredible time. It literally feeds my soul because yes, it's amazing to be on the Broadway stage. Yes, it's incredible to be touring the world with Maestro Stanley Clark and doing that. But part of what we do is try to give back to our communities, any communities you're in, and why give back to the community that you're living within. So, and I have to say that being a cultural ambassador as an Afghan has never been more important than it is right now. Because, like you said, unfortunately, what you may see or what you may hear is one side of the story, but there's many, many more stories like mine that
mm.
are incredible that I look forward to those voices being amplified so you can meet more and more lovely people. I mean, we're kind, loving, absolutely loving and rich people. We have a beautiful culture that will hopefully be back. I mean, we're holding strong to our, like I said, our song, our dance, our poetry, our music, our instruments. But back home right now, as you know, there is a music ban. Uh, and a band of not just music but like radio that plays music, or and several other major issues that are happening within Afghanistan, and all we can do is hope and pray that um, slowly but surely these things get reintroduced back into the culture, because the cultural arts are really the foundational roots um, of people, I would say. There's, you know, your spirituality, of course, your poetry, but it's like what makes you different or apart from the rest of the world. And it's usually you look towards the arts.
Absolutely. And I think arts, it feeds your soul, like you're saying, anywhere in the world. And thank you for bringing, hope to the hopeless, I'll say, because I think they're holding on to that light, which you are bringing out there to these kids, because uh, the world is getting desensitized these days. There's so much going on everywhere in the world, and my heart goes out to the children, uh, you know,
Yeah,
who are just,
same.
yeah. So, whatever people can do, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And um, I wish you the best in everything you do. And And
Thank you.
yeah, coming back to the play now, I know, like you
Yeah.
said, that it resonated with you because of your background, obviously. But what do you think the audience can take back from that story and the entire setup? And especially, I am looking forward to the music composition because this would be so unique. I'll say I think everybody should go watch it. As far as music is concerned. So a little bit of that as to what people can expect.
Well,
Mm.
I would say that The Kite Runner is a story that every human being can see different moments of their life or something that they've connected with or something that they've experienced
Mhm.
or seen or heard of
Mhm.
happen. It's a story of resilience. It's a story of um, bravery, a family just braving through war, coming here, starting from zero, successful businessman, selling literally, I'm going to quote the book, selling one-eyed Barbie dolls at the
Yes.
flea market in
Yeah.
San Jose. I mean, these are things that I think hit home with any culture,
Mm.
regardless of any border, ideology, belief system. I think it's a human story. Everybody can connect to it, and I think it's done pretty well. 45 million copies sold. So
Yeah.
to see it on stage come to life with these incredible cast, crew, directing team, lights, it's really beautiful. And I have to be really honest about something. Almost
Mm.
every single night, um, I have moments where there's tears going down my face, and I'm just sitting there statuesque because it's not one of those stories that you just go in autopilot as an artist and it doesn't hit you to your core.
Mm.
And so we all love a really happy story, a Cinderella ending and all that. But I think this is a time that we as a humanity we're being asked to go even deeper. We're being asked to take a step back,
Mm.
think about our neighbor, think about connecting, think about being kind, and ways that we can all, live in harmony.
Very true.
And so I encourage all of your listeners
Mm.
to try to get tickets because I'm sure this is going to sell out. I'm
Yes.
almost positive. It is a homecoming for us because it's
Yes.
the first time we'll be performing this piece since our world premiere in 2008,
Eight.
which
Yeah.
was with the San Jose Repertory Theater and David Ira Goldstein.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. So, well, Salar, you made my day, my evening, and the entire month. Thank you so much for joining. This was
see
such a
you, see you in San Jose, right?
Absolutely, I'm going to be there. And again, listeners, get ready to be mesmerized by the bowls of tabla and the enchanting tale of the kite runner at Hammer Theatre, April 3rd to 7th. Get your tickets soon, enact.org, hammertheatre.com, and Kite Runner Broadway. Thank you. Thank you, Salar. Take care. And thank you for giving me your precious time. I know you're very, very busy, but thank you so much.
My honor, privilege, and pleasure. Again, happy birthday, and
Thank you.
thank you for having me on Off the Cuff.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.